She only wanted his money, so he got payback on her wedding. Working in rigs doesn't require a high-degree diploma or advanced studies, but that doesn't deny the fact that the rig workers are highly skilled. They all have quite an experience in handling equipment and working in extreme and stressful conditions, which are sometimes more important than academic degrees. Despite not having a higher education degree, Dino had what the company was looking for and more. He had a keen eye for small details, and he always knew exactly what to do in critical situations. Everyone thought that Dino had the full package: a good job, a great house, and some really good friends. Dino hit the jackpot with both his employment and his house. Even though he was living the good life, he always felt that he was missing something, someone to share all of that with. He had always had terrible luck when it came to women and romantic relationships. Love just couldn't find its way to him. But that was all bound to change, as you will see in few. When Dino first started working at the rig, he was living in a rented apartment, so the first thing he did was saving up enough money to pay for a beautiful condo in full. The only thing Dino didn't have was a girl he could share his joy with. However, what Dino didn't realize was that the next woman to come into his life would try to destroy what he had, not add to it. His co-workers and rig mates would have a fresh new girlfriend every shore leave, even though Dino respected them. That just wasn't the kind of life he wanted. Dino wanted to find someone special to share a lifetime with, someone he'd trust with his love and life, someone to go through both life's turmoils with and the good times. Even though he could be very patient sometimes, it didn't mean that he's indecisive. His friends couldn't believe their eyes when they saw Dino holding a woman's hands. When he first met her, he was enthralled. Andrea was a gorgeous woman who looked like she came straight out of a Hollywood movie. Dino's co-workers were speechless when they first saw his new girlfriend, but not for the same reasons. A lot of his friends were happy for him to see that he has a special someone. Others, however, had their suspicions. One friend in particular, Josh, thought she was the most selfish, attention-seeking woman he'd ever come across. Dino couldn't have known this at the time. He couldn't see her dark side, but a lot of warning signs soon started showing up. Her self-centered side would show at times, and she'd always explain that it was due to a traumatic childhood, including parental divorce. Dino was trusting and understanding, so he took her word for it. Andrea was excited to move into Dino's apartment. In the beginning, their relationship was great, but things started spiraling quickly. While he was out on the rig, Dino started getting bank statements he couldn't explain. Andrea had his card to buy necessities while he was away, but the grocery bill exceeded $300 and another $200 just popped up a few days later. Since that was impossible to spend on a week's groceries, Dino grew suspicious. He began to doubt her loyalty. With his money and condo, she could easily cheat on him while he was away, without him noticing or finding out. When his doubts about her cheating became more certain, he decided to come home early only to find the most shocking scene. When Dino entered the house he worked very hard for, he caught Andrea by surprise, confirming the worst suspicions he had of the woman he thought to be the one. Dino could feel his heart shatter as he walked into his bedroom. The woman he wanted to marry and grow old with was cheating on him in his own bed. Dino kept his temper and just told the guy to get out. He then told Andrea to get out and handed her the key to a hotel room, in addition to $50 for cab fare, and told her to leave. Andrea went hysterical, crying and screaming, saying she loves him in one breath and cursing him with the next. Tired of her theatrics, Dino told his security guard to call the cops and escort her away. That should have been the end of it. But Andrea was very vindictive and she wasn't going to let this slide. Dino had taken away a lot of the comforts Andrea had become used to. He wasn't going to provide for her any longer. He took all of Andrea's things that were at his apartment and put them in a storage unit, but she wasn't going to let him leave her in the dark. She was going to hit him where it hurts the most. Dino's pride and joy was his white Chevy Monte Carlo. A few weeks after the breakup, Dino returned home from some intensive weeks at the rig to find a smashed windshield and a can of red paint poured over his car. His friends were at shock at who would do such a thing, but Dino knew who it was, none other than his vindictive ex. Dino decided to be patient and plan his next moves carefully. He just carried on with his routine as if nothing happened, without forgiving or forgetting what Andrea had done, as he was only waiting for the right moment to strike back. When Dino learned that she was getting married, he started plotting. He learned of the engagement through his friend Nancy. Her sister Kathy happens to be very good friends with Andrea. Nancy would become a co-conspirator with him, and together they made sure to turn Andrea's best day into her worst nightmare. Dino started the revenge plan with an anonymous letter he sent to Andrea about a month before the wedding. In the envelope, he put a picture of Monte Carlo, a wedding dress, and a ketchup packet. There was a sheet of paper, too, with 3 words red on white. If Andrea thought Dino would just let go of what she did and move on, she now knew he was going to strike back hard. The note she received made Andrea worry about her white wedding dress. Nancy had given Dino a little piece of information that she had heard from her sister, the name of the store Andrea was getting her dress from. Dino went to the store and asked the guy if he wanted to make an easy $100 in one shot. All he had to do was call Andrea and tell her that they needed her to come to the shop and choose the red lace trim for her gown. Andrea showed up 20 minutes later, breathless as she was freaking out about what might have happened to her dress. The guy told her that he got a call from her fiancé to order the red lace for the dress. Andrea knew that it wasn't her fiancé, but she had a pretty strong idea on who was behind the sabotage. With the wedding day coming closer, Andrea was freaking out for real. Dino waited until only a couple of weeks were left until the big day to make his move. Nancy slipped up and told her sister that a friend of Dino's worked at the company Andrea hired to cater the food for her wedding. Andrea lost her temper when she heard this. She immediately canceled the pasta dishes and had tomatoes removed from the salads, fearing that Dino's friend might dump a plate on her. Dino had more in store for his comeback. He had about 30 different red lipsticks sent to Andrea's house from a variety of Amazon sellers, all paid from prepaid credit cards. Even though Andrea wasn't able to trace them, she absolutely knew who they were from. Dino then had a red sharp eye placed under her windshield wipers for her to find one morning before she headed for her errands. By the time the wedding day came, Andrea was a complete wreck, living in the terror of getting sprayed with red paint at every turn. It was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. In reality, it was in Dino's interest for the wedding to be really enjoyable for all of Andrea's guests, just not her. At the wedding reception, Andrea was a basket case. She demanded that all the red flowers be removed from the centerpieces on all the tables, and even refused to get within 10 feet of anyone holding a red drink. Her wedding day was a stressful and odd day, which was Dino's point all along. She wrecked his car. She only got what she deserved.